Yo, everybody, welcome to the Therapeutic Brother on the Big Brown Couch. I'm your host, Eric Burns, licensed marriage and family therapist. And, thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit share, and subscribe. If you hit like, share, and subscribe, then you'll have direct access to all of the content that I have, and I'll be posting videos weekly about mental health topics, things of that nature. So let's get right into it on the Therapeutic Brother on the Big Brown Couch. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit today about the word anger. Now, a lot of the young people that I work with, many of them African-American young men, they always come to my office and they say, I'm angry. My teachers say I'm angry. My mom says I'm angry. My dad says I'm angry. The community says I'm angry. Am I angry? Well, let me just talk a little bit about anger. So recently, now keep in mind, I do want to say this. When I first discovered therapy, it was in an anger management class. I was court ordered to do anger management, and I took on the mantra of being an angry man. I was like 25 years old when I first was court ordered to do anger management. Now, did I have some things to be angry about? Of course I did. Of course I had things to be angry about. Did I have some things that were unfair and unjust in my life? Of course there were. There were things in my life that made me angry, and I walked around just holding on to that anger mantra, right? I was working at Blockbuster Video years ago, and this was before, the whole arrest thing. And I was just upset that I was angry that night. And one of my coworkers, she asked me to put away videotapes, which was part of my job, right? To put the tapes back on the shelf so they could be re-rented. And I just went off on her. I just lost it. And she was like, why are you so angry? And I'll be honest, I didn't know. I didn't know why I was angry. I didn't know what I was angry about. So going to that anger management class was probably one of the best things that could have ever happened to me, because I learned in that class that although there were things that made me angry, and rightfully so, I was much more than an angry man. One of the exercises that they gave us was to kind of look at a volcano. And when you have a volcano, a dormant volcano is no threat, right? Because it's dormant, it's not erupting, there's no hot lava flowing. But certain things happen underneath the surface of that volcano that if it goes unchecked, and if the certain things are not dealt with, the pressure or whatever it is that causes a volcano to erupt, if those things don't happen, or if they go unchecked, the volcano will eventually erupt, and hot lava, molten lava, destructive lava will just pour out over the sides of the volcano. That's kind of like what my anger was. My anger was kind of like a volcano. And what I learned in that class, and what I try to impart upon the individuals that I work with that come in and say, I'm angry, I'm like, okay, well, what's underneath that anger? Now, anger can be a good emotion to have, right? Anger can keep us protected. Anger can keep us safe. However, if anger goes unchecked, it can be destructive. It can be one of the most destructive emotions that we have. However, we don't just go from zero to angry. We don't just go from zero to explosion. There's some buildup, right? There's some buildup. And some of the things that I learned about myself was that I was frustrated. And if my frustration was not acknowledged, or if my frustration was not handled, if I couldn't talk it through, if I couldn't identify it, then eventually my frustration, left unchecked, would explode into a volcano. Some of the other emotions that came up during that class. And when I work with people, I encourage them to really, really look at the emotions that cause them to explode. So not only frustration, it could be feelings of disrespect. If I'm disrespected, I might I might blow like a volcano. If I'm lonely, if I'm sad, if I have feelings of jealousy, if I have feelings of enviousness, if I have feelings of being overwhelmed, if I have feelings of being stressed out, if I have feelings of I don't know, the hunger. You know, you ever been around someone who's hungry and they just like go off on you and you're like, what is wrong? I just need to eat. I just need to eat. You know, I know a few people in my life that when they get hungry, you run for the hills because it's all bad, right? So there's so many emotions that if we leave them unchecked can blow up into an anger volcano. So are you an angry person? No, you're not. You might be, we all have the ability to get angry. We all have the ability to get angry. I know when I was growing up, I used to really embarrass my mom sometimes. I would act out in the stores and just do stupid stuff, right? And when I think about it, my mom would get angry, and the anger was more of an embarrassment. It was more out of shame, right? It was, what is this kid doing? Maybe some confusion, right? What is this kid doing? Right? So confusion, shame, embarrassment, guilt, anxiety, grief. Grief is one of those emotions that if we don't work it through can lead to anger. Matter of fact, one of the 5 stages of grief is anger. You know, we can talk about grief in another episode. One of the stages of grief is anger. So, are you an angry person? No, you're not. You might have some frustration. You might have some confusion. You might have some anxiety about what's going on in the world today. Especially my young men of color, you're not angry. You might be frustrated about some things. You might be confused about some things. You might be, upset, upset, that doesn't mean angry, right? So the other thing that I learned is that anger is one of those emotions that you can control. Some people call anger a secondary emotion because there's something underneath that anger that like I was talking about earlier, there's something underneath that anger, right? So whatever that is, you have to work it out. You have to work it out and work it through because by and large, you're not angry. By and large, we're just not walking around angry. There could be some things going on that we just haven't dealt with. I had a conversation not too long ago with one of my elders, and I really appreciated this conversation because he had brought up the fact that he was angry. And I countered him because I work with so many young people that come at me and say, I'm angry, I'm angry, I'm angry. I was like, no, with all due respect, bro, you're not angry. And I automatically went into, my psychoeducation spiel about anger and all those things. And he was like, no, I am angry. I am angry. And he went on to rip off a whole bunch of things that had him angry now at this point of his life. And you know what? I had to take a step back and I had to pause. And I thanked my elder for that conversation because it kind of balanced me out. So now, instead of saying you're not angry, it's like, okay, there might be some things that you have a right to be angry about. There are some things that you have a right to be angry about. By and large, are you an angry person? No, you're not. There's some things that make you, and there's some things that make me angry. Right? Disrespect in a supermarket makes you, I'm gonna call it out though, because I understand that feeling disrespected is one of my triggers. Being misunderstood, being unheard in the moment. Growing up, I didn't have a voice in my life. So not being heard or being called a liar or someone who is judging me or condemning me, are attacking me. Those are things that will trigger me to get angry if I don't put in the coping skills to say, you know what, this ain't, I'm just going to walk away from this. I'm just going to walk away. So when he shared with me the reasons why he was angry, I accepted him. I validated what he was feeling. However, again, he's not an angry person because he's not going around, shooting up the joint. He's not going around beating his wife. He's not going around, beating up random people, right? There might be certain situations and circumstances that cause us to get angry. I know injustice for a lot of people. For me, injustice, not being treated fairly, those are reasons, those are things that make me angry. Right, being treated unfairly, being treated. I was in a home improvement store not too long ago, and I'm standing in line at customer service, and then this person, walked up, and when the lady said, "Okay, who's next?" This person to me, I said, "Oh, hold on. No, you were not next. I was next. You saw me here. I was next." And they kind of, yeah, you were next. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Now, if I would have just allowed that to happen, then I would have went off and been like, oh, feeling bad or whatever. So because I know that disrespect is something that triggers me, I got to stand up. I have to say something about it. You are disrespecting me. So right now I need you to check your actions before things start to escalate. So are you angry? I would say no. Do you have a right to be angry? Yes. And if you are angry, if something has made you angry, then I want you to explore those emotions of the pressure that builds in that volcano. Before your volcano erupts, what are the emotions that is driving that eruption? I really want you to do that. You're not angry. Do you have a right to be angry over certain things? Yes, you do. I don't want to take that away from anybody. And we're not angry people. We're not, because if that were the case, then it would just be all bad for everybody, right? So, again, this is the Therapeutic Brother. A little short tidbit on anger. Make sure you hit me up at Eric M. Burns, LMFT @gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel, The Therapeutic Brother, on the Big Brown Couch. I finally got it higher, y'all. A lot of you guys are saying, man, that thing needs to be a little bit higher. And you're right. So what I did was I changed my camera angle. I'm using a different camera, and I got it higher. And I think it's kind of straight, right? Anyway, the Therapeutic Brother on the Big Brown Couch. Again, my name is Eric M. Burns, licensed marriage and family therapist. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's get the word out on Black mental health. Let's normalize Black mental health. Just like we take care of everything else in our lives, from our hair to our nails to our feet, we have all these self-care rituals. Let's make sure that we add mental health onto that. I'm not saying you need to see a therapist once a week. I'm not saying you need to see a therapist every 2 weeks. Figure out a time where you can have a safe conversation around what you're struggling with, the anxiety, the depression, the depressive thoughts, the anger management, whatever it is that you might be struggling with. Please, please, please reach out to a licensed professional or a board certified intern. You could find those at Psychology Today. You could just type in the city where you're at. You could type in the gender of the therapist you want. You can even type in the nationalities that they serve. You can type in if you want a Christian therapist, if you want a therapist that is specializes in couples, specializes in families. You can type that in on Psychology Today. So again, thank you for listening. Didn't want to take up too much of your time on tonight. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm the Therapeutic Brother, Eric M. Burns. And remember, always, always be encouraged.